I know sometimes when I people involved, and I loved the tone of the show. I thought it was going to be like quirky and dark and funny, and then it really takes a turn. And I think the jobs that I have coming up are all for different reasons. Some of them are like championing a filmmaker, doing something that is just things that I miss, I think, is how I kind of make choices. Is like, what am I missing right now? Am I missing a romantic comedy? Like, am I missing... Yes. But what's my version of romantic comedy? You know, and so there's like, it's fun to be in the position of being picky, and it's also, you know, terribly boring because then you don't work as often as I would like to be working. But I just rather be picky. But I am having a lot of fun with the jobs coming up when we get to go back to work. Well, thank you.
So, of course, I've got to ask about WandaVision. Yeah. The last time we talked was actually the virtual premiere for WandaVision. So many awards. Like, I can list them out. I have this on this paper, but so many nominations, Grammys, Nebulas. Like, it's unprecedented how successful the show ended up being. Like, I was literally listening to the soundtrack on the radio. And it touched so many parts of nostalgia and so many parts of Wanda and Vision's story in such a way. And every episode was a new challenge. You know, you mentioned a little bit about this evolution of, you know, Wanda Maximoff and being in that collaborative process. What has it been like for you to see this evolution of this character? I mean, honestly, it's Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really amazing. Every time I find out I'm asked to participate in, specifically with WandaVision, because Disney Plus was not an app. We were one of their very first shows, and that was a scary thing to do when you're also launching an app. I've been a part of a show that launched scripted work for an app for Facebook. I don't even know what they called it, Facebook Watch or something, and it's now not doing scripted, and that wasn't a great experience. I loved the show, but some of these apps don't work out, and so you don't really know with Disney Plus. You're like, well, Disney's it's Marvel, it's Disney, but you still feel weird bringing these larger-than-life characters to a small screen unless you are making the story specific to the format, which our brilliant creator did. We made a show with these Marvel characters for a television screen. And I think that was the smartest thing about that show, and it was really part of Kevin Feige's, the seed that he had to do WandaVision. It was all there, and it was, I can't even explain how much fun we had shooting that show. It was so hard and so exhausting, and it was so long, but we had so much fun that you don't usually get to have that much fun and for people to like something. Sometimes you have, one has to give, and we had the greatest time. And when that came out, I was filming Doctor Strange in lockdown number 4 in England, and so I had no idea the response that it was having in the States. I mean, it was having it also in England, but I was like in some remote town. Like, it just wasn't something I was aware of, so I feel like it all happened while I was in a snow globe or something.
Quite appropriate for the metaphor of WandaVision.
I thought so, yeah.
Besides the incredible soundtrack, WandaVision also gave us so many versions, so much complexity, so much more than we had gotten of Wanda before. And for those who love cosplay, so much material. And I gotta ask, at this point, you've probably seen almost every single version of Wanda cosplayed possible. Like, I've seen, a Scarlet Witch with the dark hold and the fingers, and she's able to, hold. The creativity is beyond.
Yeah.
But for you, do you feel like, because you had to wear it in the first place, do you feel like there was a costume or a wardrobe piece that was most memorable for you?
It's so funny. I think about all my wigs. Like every single decade had a different wig. All of these are in, under lock and key in some storage room. They're very special wigs, and I really think about those specifically. They felt like they have, and I worked with the same hair and makeup team playing this character since, Infinity War? And so it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it was like 6 years ago, right? Right? I have no idea when any of these things happened. When
someone knows, you're going to shout out, you have Google, thank you.
But so every wig has felt like, has informed the character. Even the wig that we made for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, that felt so specific to that Scarlet Witch. And with WandaVision, all of the haircuts throughout the times were so fun. And you have to get different textured hair depending on the style. And we had this like stick straight 70s wig, which I loved. And I saw quite a few of those cosplays today of pregnant Wanda in the 70s. And that one really just gives me a lot of joy, I think, that specific look. And I don't know why, but it does. I think those were my happiest days on set, because it was the most kind of like physical slapstick comedy we did.
So I gotta ask, because a number of fans did, besides all of the other incredible work you do as a successful actress, you have also helped co-create and co-author books with a character named Hattie Harmony.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, and also I know you've probably talked about it before, but folks who may not have heard of Hattie, or just want to know more, what was the inspiration for the character, and why did you choose the medium of children's books?
So my husband and I, it was 2020 or maybe 2019, we were just trying to figure out what are positive stories, how do you engage with really young kids about the importance of storytelling, and where does that begin? And it begins with picture books. And so he and I started playing around with picture books that no one wanted to buy, but they appreciated our humor, and one publisher specifically said, I'm not sure if these ones are really marketable. Have you guys thought of doing something in the mental wellness space? And we both thought that was pretty funny, considering the majority of our conversations are about our mental well-being. And so I feel like we both have had our own experiences, and he's a very character-driven writer. And so instead of it being something poetic or lyrical, it was about what's a character that can be associated with basically kids developing this emotional behavioral language, and when they look at this character, it reminds them to breathe, or it reminds them to do something tactile, which is really helpful for kids. And we paired up with child psychiatrists to make sure that we were using proper language, which is very important. And yeah, it's been this amazing journey, and we found the most incredible illustrator, Marissa Valdez, and she brings so much humor to all the characters, and getting a book back with her first sketches is like the most exciting day. It's really fun. She has a lot of hidden Easter eggs for us. She has her publisher's name written in there, and there's a lot of cute things that we have loved to discover that Marissa puts in. But yeah, the Hattie books have been really fun. And we really, so far there's 2. We would love to be able to make more. And we really would love to make it a preschool show one day. And that was really a big part of the development, was how can we create art and a character that translates well to that medium, because we really think that she could be, kind of just a helpful voice and also fun.
All right, so Never be afraid of clapping. So we have one last thing that we gotta do, and by last thing, I mean the most important thing. We have a couple fan questions.
Cool.
Right? If I butcher anyone's name, my apologies in advance. But we have Duda Gomes from São Paulo, Brazil, says, if you could go back and do any season or movie with one of the characters you played before, who would it be and why?
Like, do it again, get to play that character again?
Yeah.
I really had a fun time playing Candy Montgomery, which is a weird thing to say. But I would love to get to continue her journey. I think she was a really strange puzzle for me to figure out. And sorry, that was for people who don't know, that's from a show called Love and Death. That's on HBO or Max. It's on Max.
They changed the name on them.
Yeah, they changed the name. Well, when we were finished, they changed it, but now it's on Max. And yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that. But it's a limited series, it'll never happen. But I guess if, answering this question in my make-believe space, that's what I would say.
I like it. All right, so we have Heinz from the Philippines. You've been in Age of Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, WandaVision, and Multiverse of Madness. If you could change one thing about Wanda's character and or story in the MCU, what would it be?
If I could change one thing?
Just one thing.
Oh gosh, I just want to figure out the whole mutant thing. That's really, and none of us can do anything about it, we can't do anything about it. We're not X-Men, but gosh, I just would love to explore that so much. I think X-Men was definitely my first experience with superhero type films. I don't even know what year that was in, but probably the early 2000s, I think. 2000, yeah. And so I would love that. And I guess, what's his name? Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
He made a cameo in Doctor Strange, but I didn't get to work with him. I worked with no one. It was just my side and then someone else's side in a different country. So I never got to work with him.
This makes me very sad.
I know, so I do these interviews where people ask me if I know people, and I'm like, nah, I don't. And they're like, but you did a scene with them. And I'm like, I know, but I don't know them.
But this was the same thing when I was talking to Tom, and he was like, no, I've never been in the same space with her until now.
Yeah, no.
On this other movie, that's not Marvel.
I know. I still haven't been on. Oh, maybe once I was on set with Tom, Spider-Man. Is that who you're talking about?
Oh no, we did a movie together with him. That's the same.
Are you talking about Hiddleston?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I was never on set with him. No, but I'm genuinely also thinking about Holland. I think only one day I was ever on set with him. And I think that scene was cut out of a movie.
I'm trying to find that one. All right, Joe Lopez from Chicago, Illinois. What character, other than your own, from any movie or television series that you've been a part of, can you personally relate to the most and why?
That I have been a part of? These are complex questions.
These are very complex questions.
Joe!
Hope you're watching.
Projects that I've been a part of, but a character I did not play.
So if you could show up a set and you could just switch characters with one of your...
Thank you.
There you go, I got you. That's what I'm here for.
I think I'd have fun playing Agatha.
Who wouldn't have fun playing Agatha?
I would love playing Agatha, and then I'd love to play Aubrey Plaza's character in Ingrid Goes West.
Great choices. All right, and we've got Maria Dominia from Latvia. If you were to live in one of the sitcom eras from WandaVision, I think you've kind of answered this one already, which would it be?
If I could live in it?
One of the eras.
Oh, gosh. I thought actually the 90s one, if I had to live in it, I thought the 90s world was pretty funny with the playing with the camera. And, I don't know. Yeah, I liked all of them. But yeah, 80s was, that's like a horror movie, the 80s sitcoms. Those are terrifying.
There's a lot of kitsch. Yeah. A lot of kitsching.
You know, just like cue the sad music. It was just terrifying.
All right, we've got Nito Gonzalez from Brownsville, Texas. My question for you: what did you learn? What did you learn from playing characters like Wanda, Leah, and Candy that you still use today, whether it be about grief, making mistakes, and consequences? Or did you?
Oh gosh,
these are such y'all just want all the feelings.
So I love getting to look at a character and be confused by the choices they make and the decisions they make. And I really like to figure out now what would lead someone that is the decision they make, because it seems so different from what I logically think I would do. And in that, I'm not ever trying to teach an audience member a lesson of any kind. That's truly just my own like personal exploration of someone that I can understand, but I don't technically relate to. And to me, that's an important brain exercise, because I think if we can like go around the world and see people who behave in a strange way or make odd choices and we don't understand them, I think if we at least use our imagination to think, well, I guess these are the elements that could have led to this moment where this person acts this way or makes these choices. I just think that's like a nice world to live in. And so I guess I ideally like playing parts that don't make a lot of sense to me. And in that, there's no like lesson I learn other than like trying, you know, obviously there's morals, there's values, there are very bad things and there are very kind, good things. I would say the majority of life lives somewhere in between. And so that it's really just what makes us feel different from one another. And so just trying to like figure out what that looks like is, that's, I guess, the lesson in it. I don't know.
No, I mean, it's creating the backstory, right? It's really putting yourself into someone else's shoes and understanding, I wouldn't do that. But this character clearly did that. Why did this character do that?
Yeah, and I think, it's like with Candy or with Multiverse of Madness, you know, I was like, wait, what? This is happening again? We just got him on our side, guys. And then that's also smart, you know, for them to play with audience expectations like that. And now that you're on my side, watch me do some maybe morally bad things, and you're gonna feel weird because you now understand why I made those choices. And I've been able to meet some parents who are dealing with kids who are sick, and they were the ones who related to that Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness the most, because it would not matter what they would do for their child. And I'm just like thinking about like the few stories that I've heard and messages that I've received, and
I'm literally seeing the goosebumps.
Yeah, and that's really so like we're watching a character do something crazy, and I'm like, that's crazy. But there is some person out there who then watches it and is like, oh my God, I never knew that's how I could feel about that. And so, you know, it's all worth exploring, even if it makes us like confused or angry or frustrated.
I love it.
All right.
So, the last question, I'm going to give you a softball.
It's already been 45
It's
minutes.
We're done. This is the last question. I'm sorry.
No one told me how long I was going to be up here, so.
You're going to love this question, though.
Do this all night.
Maybe, I don't know. Gabriel from Los Angeles, California said, my question is, what would happen if Godzilla and Wanda meet? Will they be
the last question
or enemies? I don't know. I feel like this is just like I have one more question if you really want it, but I was like, I need to toss you a softball,
but I'll answer it.
I mean,
Gabrielle.
I'm just saying, would Godzilla and Wanda be friends?
For sure. Are you kidding me? that little animal is a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. I just remember seeing the Godzilla that I was in for the first time, and I was like, look at all those emotions that animal has. Like, or monster, whatever you want to call them. Animal is nicer, I think.
Yeah, I feel creature.
Creature, yeah. No, she would like ride him or something. You know, she's like a Targaryen.
I mean, now all I have is like this image of Wanda like riding Godzilla into the sunset.
With her like long hair, fiery red, just like holding on to him with a blue screen in the back. Oh, some fan art could be inspired.
Someone is sketching as we speak. All right, since we are going to ask you...
That was actually a great question.
It's a great question.
If you do have another one,
okay, we have one last question. Victoria Dominguez from San Antonio, Texas. I had to know San Antonio. In WandaVision, we see other characters and heroes like Darcy and Monica Rambeau join Westview and live a perfect sitcom life.
Was not perfect.
Objective. What other Marvel heroes would you have liked to have seen in Westview?
Oh, who would I have liked to? I think Thor in Westview would be fun. You know?
I just imagine him in a suit with a briefcase, walking to work and like tipping his little hat.
Yeah.
The 60s,
I mean,
the 50s.
maybe, or maybe he would be like a god in a sitcom, you know? Like, he thinks he's a god, right? Isn't that his whole thing? That
Yeah,
he's a god?
He's a god.
Or he is a god. He is a god.
He's a god.
He's a god. Yeah, I think it would be fun to see his comedic chops in Westview.
All I can imagine is in the 80s, a full aerobic, like
Thor.
sweatband,
Yeah.
like arm sweats with like the short
Yeah.
shorts.
I don't know how we'd make this happen. I don't know what's
Aerobics
going
with the
on.
gods.
I don't know what's going on with his journey in Marvel. Someone's got to catch me up one of these days, and I only catch up when I get to do another one. I'm like, tell me what's going on.
You will sign a lot of things and take a lot of pictures, and someone's going to give you a quick synopsis this weekend.
I'm here tomorrow. Would love to know what's going on in the Marvel universe. I do watch movies, but sometimes watching the movies, that when you see how the pie is made, or whatever that saying is, I feel like it's harder to watch them because you're just like thinking about how it was made the
You're
whole
thinking
time.
about work.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I would love for someone to let me know what's going on. I have no idea.
Yeah. You have homework assignments tomorrow.
Because there was another Thor movie recently, right?
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Right. And Natalie held the hammer in the trailer.
Oh yeah, she did. And she held it. She held it throughout that movie. Thank you so much, Lizzie Olsen. You are amazing.
This is very fun.
Again, one more round of applause for this amazing creator. I think that's it.
Great. Thank you for coming out here, everyone.
Yeah.
And I will see you tomorrow if I didn't see you today. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, and make sure y'all are checking out all the rest of the programming this weekend.
Sure. Thanks. Drink water.
Yes.
Drink water.
Lots of it.
Those are the words I will leave you with. Drink water.
The best advice of the weekend.